Shalom, shalom, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pulse of Israel here in our eternal and ancestral homelands. I am here this beautiful sunset evening. You're just getting the sunset here on one of our hilltops in the Judean Hills. This is actually part of Efrat, our newest hill to be developed, which you can see some caravans here, called the Etam. And I'm here with Ridvan. Now, shalom aleichem, Ridvan.
Do I say
Aleichem shalom? There you go, yes.
Yeah.
Ridvan is also named as the Apostate Prophet.
Yeah.
Because he's got a totally unbelievable story. So we don't have that much time, but we're trying to get some of it. Grew up a religious Muslim.
Yeah.
Then became an atheist.
Yeah.
Then converted to Christianity.
Yes.
And here you're now in Israel. I went up with Ridvan to the Temple Mount. If you did not see that video of me going up with Tommy Robinson, Ridvan was there as well. And he was actually allowed to go into the Al-Aqsa Mosque because he said whatever he needed to say in Arabic because he knows it, because he was a religious Muslim. But they didn't let him in because he wanted to go in with Tommy, and Tommy's not a Muslim for political reasons, not for religious reasons. And now you're in a proud Jewish resettler in the Judean Hills, settlements. A mind-blowing trip.
It is. It's been a very long trip this time. So I was here in Israel actually last year in February, just a month after the October 7 terrorist attacks. Was here at the peak of war. But I wanted to really so badly come back and see more and do more things, talk to more people. So finally had the opportunity to come back and to explore much more. Also, funny thing is the last time I came here, I was an atheist.
Just last year.
Yes. And this time at the beginning of this year, I became religious and turned to Christianity. So I kind of came back with a completely different eye and with a different mindset.
Really?
Yeah. Last time I went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and it didn't mean anything to me. I had no idea where I was, you know. So, and then this time I go over there once again as a Christian. It's like suddenly a completely different experience. So, yeah, here I am, and it's been incredible.
Wow. So I want to start with the easy question first. With your Muslim background, and you told me you were religious Muslim, practicing religious Muslim. Can we live in peace here with our Muslim neighbors? That's the easy question.
That's the easy question.
Starting off easy.
Very easy question indeed. So the thing is, when I'm here in Israel, I want to be very careful about this topic and this question and the answer to it, because so I have very strong opinions about Islam. I'm an ex-Muslim, as we have just explained. I grew up in a religious Muslim family. I practiced the religion myself. When I did practice it, I loved it, but I came to the conclusion that it is false, that it is dangerous. So I started speaking out against it. But just for the fact that that I left the religion and made it public that I left the religion, I deserve to be executed by Islamic law. So right. Muslims across the world agree with that. Most Muslims agree that I deserve the death penalty for that. So for me, Islam is of course obviously unacceptable. I consider it an evil ideology that is responsible for much of the suffering in much of the world. And I do in fact think and say, and I would happily defend it, that that Islam is the main cause of this entire conflict that we are having here in the land of Israel. I think that for example, you know, very funny thing, when I'm at a checkpoint, for example, I get told by Christians or by others that it might be a good idea to have my cross out, because when the Israelis see my cross, they will be more likely to think, oh, okay, we have no issue.
100%. I was just an IDF soldier manning a checkpoint for the past month on my IDF reserve duty, and yes, the second you know, and I'm talking as an IDF soldier, that someone's Christian as opposed to Muslim, then you look at them and check them. You might still check them, but it's very differently. Yeah,
with Muslims it is very distinct, because it's not that every single Muslim is a horrible person. It's not that every single Muslim is bad. Of course, there are lots of Muslims. Of course, most Muslims will not resort to violent actions, not resort to terrorism. Yeah, we can put all of that aside. I can be friendly and have good interactions with Muslims. I just had very nice interactions with Muslims in the old city. That doesn't mean that there isn't not an underlying huge problem. Islam is fundamentally a very hostile, a very hateful religion that directly preaches that Muslims have the duty to spread the religion, to subjugate the disbelievers, to subjugate by name directly in the Quran the Christians and the Jews, and to force them to pay protection money if they do not convert to Islam. It condemns Christians and Jews for their beliefs and puts Jews in an even much worse position than Christians. And Muhammad himself is believed to have said, and this is what most Muslims agree with, that that the time will come where the Muslims will fight the Jews, and even rocks and trees will say, "O Muslim, servant of Allah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him," except for one tree called the Garga tree, which will not say because it is a tree of the Jews. So a mythical tree, of course, will be the one that doesn't snitch on the Jews. Obviously, he had very, very big problems with Jews, and it is part of the Islamic religion to always subjugate the Christians and Jews and to eventually eradicate the Jews. This is, some people will, when we point out that Islam has a mandate to eradicate the Jews, some people will say, but Jews lived for lengthy periods of time under Muslim rule,
Right.
and they were not exterminated. So what about that? Well, it is in what we just said. Muslims have the obligation, according to the Quran, to subjugate the Jews and Christians. So as long as Jews were subjects under Muslim rule, they were usually okay if they behaved, if they followed what the Muslims demanded from them. Once they went out of line, the Muslims made sure to discipline them, to have pogroms against them and all that. But with this situation, with Jews having authority over this land, this is not acceptable to Islam. This is not acceptable to Muslims. And Muslims do still believe firmly that the time will come where they will fight the Jews and will kill them. In fact, Hamas has it in their charter of 1988. And when they attacked on October 7, it was very clear from their perspective that the goal was to eradicate or to cleanse the filth of the Jews, as they said it, from the land of Palestine. And the attack was called the Al-Aqsa flood. It wasn't called the liberation of Gaza. It wasn't called the taking back of our rights. It was called the Al-Aqsa flood. It was an appeal to go to the Temple Mount, to the Al-Aqsa, and to take all of it on behalf of Islam, to relaunch the strength, the imperialism of Islam. I think that as long as you have all of this, it is near impossible to have lasting peace with Muslims. You can try, and I think Israel is in many regards doing a quite good job in keeping the internal peace with a 20% Muslim population. Many other nations would do a horrible job. So people have a lot to learn from Israel. That said, there is an underlying issue, and we have to talk about it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm glad to hear that from you, because I believe there is what I believe a delusion within the Jewish mindset. We just want to live. We just whether you love us, whether you leave us alone, we just want to live and do good in the world, and we want to believe that everyone else just wants to live life and provide for their children just as we do. And I think many Jews and many Israelis delude ourselves, for instance, with the Abraham Accords, thinking, okay, the Abraham Accords, we're now going to have peace with the Muslim world. In my eyes, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Abrahams are good to an extent so long as Israel is strong and feared. But the second Israel is looked at as being weak, doesn't make a difference what country we have a peace deal, Abraham Accord, Normalization Accord, the jihadi aspect of the Muslim world will attack to destroy us.
Of course. The reason why Israel exists right now, and the reason why Israel hasn't been eradicated and destroyed at this point, is that the Muslim world and the surrounding Muslim countries are afraid of Israel. They tried it in 1947 and 1948 in reaction to Israel declaring its independence and its strength here. The Arab world didn't like it, and they collectively attacked. And the goal was not to simply send a message to Israel. The goal was to eradicate, to destroy Israel, and to make all of it Arab and Muslim land. They tried it once. They would happily try it again if they weren't terrified of Israel's strength. So Israel can make peace with these nations through strength. Israel can never weaken, can never act like European nations that just let immigrants come in and do whatever they want to their children.
Right.
Israel is strong, and this is what I admire about Israel, and what I think people need to learn from Israel, to have peace through strength. Because if you let down your guards, you will not survive.
Right, and that's why, like in my programming, when I talk to many non-Jews as well, I'm always saying, no, you should be supportive of Israel, not for Israel. We're going to be okay. God's looking after us. We're going to survive. You should be looking to Israel as and the Jewish people, especially the young generation of Jews today, who are the literal warriors on the front line, because we're standing up for our strong identity, for our ancestry, for our religious identity, thousands of years. You need that too.
Yep.
You need that too. You're Christian, you're British, you're American. Be inspired by us standing up for ourselves against what I also believe to be this evil, in order to save yourselves and your own societies.
Yeah. I would say, even to those who are of Christian background, and I'm not talking to Muslims here, of course, but of course of those who are of Christian background and who are influenced by some anti-Semitic or anti-Zionist currents, unfortunately, lately, I would say it would be even in their best interest to support Israel in some way, even if they are, if you are a Christian, you should first off not be anti-Semitic. If you are a Christian, you should love the Jews. You should have respect for them. You should have love for them. It is the Apostle Paul in his epistle to the Romans himself who expresses great love for the Jews forever and says that God loves them forever and has made a covenant with them that he will not break, because he does not break covenants. This is the Christian belief. It's not Jewish. It's a Christian belief, literally. So Christians should not be anti-Semitic at all. But even if they find themselves in a position where they have a problem with Jews or with Israel, they should, even pragmatically, even if it is just for their own self-interest, be supportive of Israel, or at least not be a stumbling block for Israel, because Israel is in this land keeping a very, very important spot from blowing up and being a massive problem for everybody else. This is the land where Christians feel safe. This is the land where, according to Christian organizations, Christians are not facing high levels of persecution, whereas most of the surrounding countries have high levels of persecution of Christians. And most importantly, this is the heart of a symbolic place where not only Hamas, but also many other Muslims think a revival of the caliphate, of Islamic imperialism, should start. If Hamas somehow achieved, through an Islamic alliance, to destroy Israel and to take Al-Aqsa, to take the Temple Mount, this would be such a huge encouragement for the Muslims to restart the caliphate that gladly no longer exists. And this would then no longer be about Jews. It would be about Islam versus everyone. And for most, after the Jews are done, the Christians would come next.
Right.
So
first the Saturday people, then the Sunday
exactly.
people. And that's why I'm always explaining that support Israel, because we are the front line for the whole freedom-loving world.
Yeah.
You don't support us, we fall. It's coming for you quicker than it already is.
Yes, exactly.
So now, here we're in the Judean Hills. You're in a hilltop of a settlement, and I'm proud to be a Jewish settler, resettling these hills where the Bible stories took place. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes, the prophets were all here. So no one's insulting me by calling me a settler. I'm a proud Jewish resettler. What are your initial thoughts about us Jews reclaiming, resettling, liberating our ancestral biblical heartland here, and what you see with your own eyes?
Well, first off, it's obviously a very radical and very extremist society to be in. So
that's me.
I have been. This has been a fantastic experience. I was in Israel last year, but I didn't get to actually experience this. I didn't even cross over to the West Bank in any way.
Judean Samaria.
Judean Samaria, yes, in any way at all. I was actually going to clarify that.
Oh, are you? My bad. He was going to clarify himself. Good.
This time I had the pleasure to come here to see things for myself, and it's not so much to see and to change my opinion about things or to have an opinion about things. I'm very much on board. So it is very much just to personally experience being here and to see what is being built here. Because to me, I don't feel the need to say, hey, guys, I know the settlement issue is very complicated and, it's very controversial, but guys, these guys are not at fault. I'm not really interested in making these, in apologizing for anything. And I don't think that I don't think that you guys should be interested in that either.
Oh, you're talking to the right crowd. We're all about strong. the best defense is a strong
Yeah.
offense.
I think that you are in a land that is highly contested, where you have the right to be. Where if you weren't, if you didn't take this hilltop, other people would take this place, and those people are not.
Oh, they already are. Many of these are illegal
Yeah.
homes on land that belongs to us.
Yeah.
That one day we're going to have to somehow make sure they live somewhere else, and we rebuild our Jewish communities there.
So if you have this if you have this spot, this land, which where you build homes on empty land mostly, so it's it is, you should take it, you should run with it, and you shouldn't ask for anybody's permission to do this, because you deserve to be here. And just a reminder, in 1947, Israel was given by the United Nations the right officially to establish to re-establish the Jewish homeland,
Right.
and the Arabs were also in this land given the permission to establish another state if they so want to do it. They rejected it.
Right.
The Jews accepted the plan. They weren't given what they actually initially were promised and what they deserved, because they were promised the entirety of this, but they still took the deal.
All right.
The Arabs didn't take the deal. The Arabs chose to fight an extermination war instead. Very, very crucial to point out, 1948, when the Arab nations and the local Arabs came together to attack Israel, this was not a regular war, it was an extermination war. Had they defeated Israel, they would have destroyed everything and exterminated the Zionists and the Jews. I am very sorry to point this out, but why in the world would you guys care about what they think?
Yeah. It's a defect in the Jewish DNA that we just want to live and survive and be liked. And I'm glad you brought that up, because one thing that I always explain to people, for instance, I believe we have not finished this Gaza war. It's still going on. But the way I help explain people how it's still going on is this was not a 2-year war. We're now the 77th year of our War of Independence that the Arab Muslim world began in 1947. In every war, it's just different actors or different names or different organizations. Believe it or not, there were no Palestinians fighting us in 1947. There was no entity called Palestinians in 1947. They were only created in the 1960s. It was the Arab states that surrounded us. And that helps gives the context to understand, no, this is a protracted war. We just are finished of a 2-year battle, but it's not finished yet. So long as we don't defeat, I don't think we're ever going to be able, as we were talking about in the beginning, you're never able to defeat the jihadi Islamic ideology to take over the world, but to be strong enough to deter it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not there yet, where they're too scared. And I believe part of that is us totally acting as we should and reclaiming, and I'm proud to say this, all of our biblical homelands. And I'm a big Bible believer. God gave the biblical borders for a reason. I think reality never before has proven the intelligence of God more than today. Because in terms of the biblical borders, I mean, southern Lebanon really are part of the biblical borders. And now that we know that Hezbollah is still there and they can't be there, and minorities, the Sunnis are being persecuted by the Shiites in southern Lebanon, and we're only able to protect ourselves if we're back in our biblical land. Southern Syria is the Sunnis persecuting the Kurds, the Alawites, the Christians, the Druze. We're only able to protect them and ourselves if we go back and reclaim and liberate and resettle the biblical borders. That's the message that the Islamic jihadi world will receive. Oh my God, the Jewish people are back. In addition to our strengthening our Jewish identity and obviously rebuilding the temple one day. That is I'm a big believer that rebuilding the temple is what's going to help bring peace, because that's going to be the final, or that's the most important sign to the Muslim world. Like, oh my God, the Jewish people are really back, owning their ancestral identity, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But that leads me to the final question, which is, how was your experience on the Temple Mount? And that's coming back both with your Muslim upbringing, but then with your current Christian identity today.
So we had a very interesting experience on the Temple Mount. Of course, we went up to the Masjid al-Aqsa, which is of course a completely made up place. That is, so the Quran says that at some point Muhammad went to the Masjid al-Aqsa, the farthest mosque. It never ever for a single time mentions a place named Jerusalem. The Quran never talks about Jerusalem. So according to the traditions, Muhammad flew at some point in the middle of the night on the back of a flying horse or donkey to...
Donkey. That's
Wow.
perfect timing.
Wow.
Oh, look at this. We're about to be inundated with a herd of sheep. This is going to be great for the video. Let's go.
So in the middle of the night, he flew on the back of a horse or a donkey to Jerusalem, allegedly, from where he then ascended to the sky, and then, according to some narrations, went to hell, then came back, and all that. So, and that is very much attributed to. So that is thought. Oh.
You see the sheep were literally big. I hope they don't knock the. Oh, they're not knocking the camper down. Wow, they're going around.
One of them just knocked me out of the way.
I know, me too.
He's like, hey, please step aside. Step aside, sir.
And you see that was an 18-year-old Jewish farmer who's in charge of running all of these sheep here. Right? That's the proud Jewish youth we have growing up in the land of Israel today. Yes. So he flew in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he flew in the middle of the night to Jerusalem. And when the Muslim invaders came, so it was on the Christian land at that time, under the Eastern Roman Empire. When the Muslims came and took this land, they of course put their claim to it, and they went to the Temple Mount. And you know the story. You're a guide as far as I can tell. So, and picked that spot and said, "Oh, this is actually where Muhammad came on the back of his flying horse. This is probably the wall where he tied his donkey, and this must be the spot where people prayed. So we will just build a mosque here and call this Masjid al-Aqsa." That is the thing. Unlike what most people think, the whole Golden Dome is actually not the Masjid al-Aqsa. It's actually this rather crappy-looking mosque on the side of the mount. I heard so much about that place growing up as a Muslim. It's so much on the tongues, on the minds of Muslims around the world. It has a very symbolic value. Muslims, of course, see that not just as, especially now, not just as something historical or religious. They see it right now, especially because of Israel, as a political but also highly religious symbol, which shows to them that they must preserve this land or at some point retake this land. Which is why when the conflict flares up between Israel and the so-called Palestinians, Muslims around the world tell each other that it is their religious duty to stand with the Palestinians against Israel. They never make it about rights or about borders. It is their religious duty to stand with the Palestinians against Israel, no matter what.
Right.
So
even though they won't take in any refugees, they won't hardly give them any money, they don't care about helping them, but stand with them in terms of supporting the destruction of the Jews.
If they took all these people in, they would no longer have these pawns fighting for them in this land.
Right.
They need the Palestinians as their own pawns to fight against the Jews.
Right.
So anyway, going up to the Al-Aqsa, it was very interesting to me, it was very interesting to me to observe how much Muslims don't actually value that place at all.
How do you sense that?
So I went up to the mosque. I heard that they demanded Tommy Robinson to recite a surah from the Quran, the first chapter. I heard that, quickly went there and recited it. The guy standing there was like, "MashaAllah," yeah, that he was allowing me to walk in. But then Tommy also wanted to walk in with me.
Yeah.
They stopped him. Then as I asked if I can take him with me, they wanted to confirm that I'm a Muslim.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to tell them that I'm a Muslim, so I didn't want to lie to them.
Right.
It's very funny because lots of Muslims have said that I pretended to be a Muslim to get in there. I never pretended to be a Muslim. I recited the Quran, and when they asked me if I'm a Muslim, I didn't say I'm a Muslim. But when we walked around the dome, it's very interesting. Much of that place is not taken care of. There is rubble everywhere. There is trash everywhere. There are kids playing football. Others might have said that they do their toilet business there. There's obviously not much respect for that place, except for one thing, which is this building is our symbolic building, and you cannot come in here, and we don't want Jews over here. Whether they take care of the place or not is a different question. They don't take care of it. It's full of rubble. If the Jews had control over that place, it would look very different.
Nice. And if it would be Mecca, it would be immaculate.
Yes, it would look beautiful. It would look very much taken care of. They claim that this is their third holiest site. They don't treat it like the third holiest site. You also pointed that out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that it is their third holiest site. It is only their third holiest site because they claimed it after they conquered this place. They don't actually have any claim to this place. It also doesn't have any fundamental religious value to Islam at all. And even if we granted for a second here that Islam has some validity, that place doesn't have any relevance fundamentally to Islam. It is a later political military claim. That's what it is.
Right. Now, personally, I never like when people say it's Islam's third holiest site.
It's
like
not.
I don't, right, exactly. I don't like saying it.
Look, as a Christian, I can come here and roam this land, the land of Israel, go to so many different places that are considered very, very holy, historical to Christians, including to Jesus, to the disciples, to the New Testament, but also, of course, holy places that Christians share with Jews from the Old Testament or the Hebrew Bible. Jews have so much here that is considered holy. Muslims don't have anything. There's nothing here that is actually inherently, that is actually considered holy to Muslims. There is no site here at all. There is that structure in Jerusalem, which was built only after Islam came into existence and after Muslims took that place over. That's it. They don't share the historical focus on this land. They don't share the religious values. They don't share the tradition. And I think that Muslims really need to stop fighting over this place. They need to leave it alone. Need to accept that they lost the fight and need to recognize the claim of the Jews and of Israel to this land, and then make peace and do their own stuff in their own country.
Honestly. And I think that's really that's never going to happen, or the process is only going to begin to happen when we rebuild the temple. That's going to be the symbolic act that then the Muslim world's going to wake up like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your voice. How do people follow you?
I'm on Twitter, now known as X, by the handle Apostate Prophet, and also on YouTube under the same name. So
amazing. Well, thank you so much for your voice of clarity. And you're invited anytime to our beautiful ancestral homeland to connect with the Jewish roots and the Jewish roots of the Christian roots. And we're big believers in the Torah tells us, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, from Zion will go forth the Torah, meaning the teachings of God, the morality of God. And you're always invited here to be inspired and help spread the truth whenever.
Wonderful.
So thank you so much, Ridvan.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. God bless you, man.
You too.
All right, everyone. Apostate Prophet. Go follow. Help spread the word. Shalom, and everyone. Thanks for watching. And you are also invited for a private tour of the Temple Mount, of the Judean Hills, of these beautiful settlement hills that we're so proud to be rebuilding. And I promise you, the next time you're going to be here or you see me doing a video here, there are going to be more caravans. Last time I was here, there were none. Now 17 families live here. I was here doing guard duty 2 years ago. There were 15, 18-year-olds here and like 2 adults. Now 17 families. We are rebuilding the ancestral Jewish homeland, and it's not just about us. It's to save the whole freedom-loving world. Support the Jewish people, support the Jewish state of Israel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Shalom. If you are not yet a subscriber to our daily, belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect, truthful videos about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world, what are you waiting for? Go to pulsevisual.com and click to subscribe today. And yes, we are a donor-based operation. We need your donations for support in order to make these videos and get our videos seen and do all the work we do. So every once in a while, whether a large donation or a small donation, just go to pulsevisual.com and click on the donate button. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.